What's up, Book to you? Back with I guess you could say this is a review or a rant in all the right ways. I'm not quite sure exactly how I should phrase this. It started off as a review, but I mostly just want to just kind of like praise this for all its glory. I don't know if it's because of the shock that I went into this book with literally no expectations and left it with thinking this is probably the first to second best read. I would say I have to say it's below Project Hail Mary for me, but it's still, for some reason in my heart, pains me to say second best read, simply because I enjoyed my time so much with this book. Truly did. This book is, how do I put it? I went into it believing that this is going to be my first romantasy book, but this is an anti-romantasy book, if that's a thing. I think this is maybe its own genre at this stage. It is, I dare say, grimdark. Not Joe Abercrombie's grimdark, where, yes, all the characters kind of have their own kind of ways about them, but then they also have like redeeming qualities. No, most of these characters don't have redeeming qualities in a lot of ways, and even there's speculation of maybe whether or not the main character has redeeming qualities to it. But yeah, this is not like a Song of Ice and Fire in the way that the world is just grim, but it is, it's just a unique thing. You just have to experience. That's the only way I can truly explain this. But let's just start plot. Just plot. Let's just go from there. This is a book where you have a farmer's girl who's a part of a world, or where that there is a not a plague, but it's a drought and everyone's dying, and you start off in like this sad world where that she's burying a loved one, a close loved one, and it seems dreary from the very get-go. And then, you know, she's like, well, I want to be the only way I can get my family out of this situation, the only way I can save my young brother, is to be a concubine for the new prince who's going to be emperor pretty soon. And she gets there and really not thinking that she's going to be kind of like a background character, to only find herself somehow as the empress to be. And she goes into this world with this man who's the Prince Terren, and from the get-go, he's like the worst. I mean, I'm not trying to spoil anything, but he's like the worst. But then at the same time, even though he's the worst, as you progress throughout the story, you start realizing why he's the worst. And to a certain weird, strange way in this, you don't hate that character. You kind of feel bad for him and kind of actually truly understand. And I'll be honest, by the end of the book, I'm almost kind of like, is this going to be the protagonist? Like, is this going to be a happy ending? Like, I didn't quite, like, there was a lot of the last half of this book, or the last portion of this book, was crazy good. And plot twist, didn't see any of it coming, did not see any of this coming at all. So just be warned when you are reading the Poet Empress, expect the unexpected towards the end. Just saying that. And in my personal opinion, for the best. I mean, chef's kiss, couldn't have done it any better. Shin Tao, amazing writer. Absolutely love the plot. Love the plot. Now, as far as the emotional impact of this, oh yeah, oh yeah. In fact, I would go so far as to say the emotional impact of this is actually the best part of this book. And I'm not really one that reads a lot of emotional impact books. Like, probably the last emotionally impacted book that I could really just think of that just like hit me was like the first Red Rising book. And that's like the worst one for most, but for some reason the deaths in that like just hit me. I was very fond of a lot of the characters, and if something happened to them, like it hurt. It really truly hurt. I kind of got this way with this book, and it wasn't even characters who passed away. It was just characters that, as they are living, and well, some of the ones that passed, but I just found myself really impacted by the loss or the sense of loss for a lot of these characters. So emotional impact, definitely like 5-star in that regard. And as far as characters are concerned, this is a very close behind emotional impact. To me, emotional impact and characters are probably its strongest aspect to it. Prince Terren, he's a monster, but he also has some personality that you kind of are like, ooh, I don't really know what to make of this character. And then you've got some like the current Empress, and you know what's going on with her. And then you've got Wei. I don't know, never really knew exactly how to pronounce her name, the main character. The main protagonist of the story. And then you've got these like minor characters that really, when they're on screen or you're reading them, you really know who's speaking at that point. It's really well made in that regard. Like, characters, love the characters. Now, as far as the pacing is concerned, there was some slow moments in this. I feel like I'm being a little too judgmental when it comes to the pacing issues in this. I did feel like there was some moments where I kind of maybe lost a little bit of interest in the story. I won't say it was a flaw, though. I think it was more intentional, though. So that's why I'm kind of like, ooh, I kind of rate this low in that regard. But then at the same time, I'm like, was it though low? Was it? Like, maybe that was kind of the intention of it. But I guess for this video, I'll say it was a low aspect of it. Probably the lowest aspect of it was the pacing, because there was some moments kind of in the middle that I kind of was like, all right, let's kind of pick up the pace a little bit. Like, I want to get back to the action. I was looking forward to the next chapter. Let's just put it that way. Now, as far as dialogue is concerned, the dialogue isn't really, it's a very introspective book in a lot of ways. When dialogue does happen, it's very sharp. It's very clean. I didn't find any kind of character that I felt like the dialogue was wonky in any way. Like, I felt like Shin Tao did just an excellent job at making this where the dialogue was smooth. It was very smooth, and it was very to the point. Like, there wasn't fluff with what you're reading. I mean, it just truly wasn't. It was like every bit of dialogue had its point, and maybe later on showed itself later down the road. But it was just amazing dialogue. Now, as far as the prose is concerned, I give the prose really high. Now, I know I had seen some people online that they were like, some of the prose isn't great. I didn't have a single problem with that, so I have literally no idea what they're talking about the prose. I thought the prose was pretty good to excellent almost. Now, is it like 5-star prose? Maybe not. Maybe like 4.5 star in that regard. But as far as like what did I think of the Poet Empress, I loved it. I truly, truly love this book. Truly love this book. Like I said, it pains me to say that this is my second best read of the year, but I just can't. Like, Project Hail Mary is just so up there. Like, it's all time. And I'm telling you, if this was not, if I didn't have an all-time favorite for this year on my list, this book would be my favorite read. Hands down. Hands down. I love this book. Overall, I would give it probably a 4.5 stars. I don't want to give it a 5-star simply because it does have a slight pacing issue, but now the more that I think about it, ooh, is that meant to be? I will stick with my 4.5-star rating on this one, but overall, I will say the flaw that I had in it isn't really a flaw. It's mainly just a slow burn in a lot of ways. The reason why I'm going to stick with that rating is for the simple fact of anytime that you have a book where there is a few chapters where you're like, all right, let's get on to the next chapter. That's where I rate it a little bit lower when it comes to that. Some books don't have that. Some books are really, you're enjoying your time in the moment. But there was some chapters that I was like, all right, get to the next chapter where that we can, move along with the plot a little bit more. But overall, amazing read. Shin Tao, if I could ever interview someone for this channel, it would probably be her, because I would just like to know what was in her head when she wrote this book. What was the idea, the process of this? How did she come up with this idea? Like, was it intentionally like an anti-romantasy, or how did that play out from the author's perspective? I'm very interested in this, but overall, guys, I'll scream it to the rooftops with it. The Poet Empress, pick it up, read it. You will not be disappointed. And as always, guys, thank y'all so much for watching. Y'all guys take care.